I've been involved in buying and selling and dealing in antique toys now for almost 40 years. I started when I was just 18 years old. I had my first little shop in Los Angeles. Then I had my second one in London. Then I had a gallery in New York. And here I am now in Israel. I'm English. My wife is Spanish. We made Aliyah, we decided to make Aliyah a few years ago, and 2.5 years ago we realized our dreams and moved to Israel. We are living in Ra'anana, very close to Lever Park, beautiful city. There are many South Americans in Ra'anana, and it was a good place to mix and meet and start a new life with a large Anglo-Saxon community and a large Latin American community. This toy is a wind-up clockwork automaton. It's made in America during the 1920s and is based, or was based, on the comic cartoon series of Li'l Abner and his family. As one winds up the toy, the father, Li'l, he does a dance, jigging up and down. The wife sways from side to side as she plays the piano. The grandmother, smoking a pipe, is at the top sitting, conducting the little orchestra, and old grandfather is banging his tambourine. For 16 years we lived in Spain, and I had a gallery, an antique toy gallery in Spain, in Valencia, later in Córdoba in the south of Spain. With the advent of the internet 20-something years ago, I could see the way business in general, commerce was moving, where it didn't really matter where you were. As long as you were connected, you could do business. I have customers and friends, collectors, dealers all over the world. And for many of these people, I am their eyes, I am their ears. For many collectors, toys are a mild obsession where it takes priority in their lives. It's just that nice camaraderie between collectors. You know, we have a common denominator, and one thing I love about this hobby, it is a great social leveler. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're rich, if you're poor. Obviously, the more money you have, the more you can spend on toys. But there are no prejudice in this business. Everyone is at the same level. Everyone with that love for toys. This is one of the oldest toys I have in the gallery. This was made by Jouets de Paris in France in 1855 and is a child's gambling toy, a horse racing game where a cup was placed in the center and the children would bet for beans or sweets or small little centimes. It's all hand painted. The mechanism is original. It represents a period where the equivalent today would be a computer game. I specialize in dealing, buying and selling toys from 1850 through to 1950. It's basically 100 years. The first toys were probably German made. Germany dominated the whole toy industry, and most of these toy companies were Jewish owned. And a lot of them based in southern Germany, which was famous for its clock-making traditions. These toys have to be amusing for children, but above all, educational. So very, very sexist toys. Boys' toys were steam locomotives, clockwork battleships, horse-drawn carriages. They were built and designed to educate and stimulate. A lot of these early German manufacturers produced toys which, by today's standard, are completely and unadulterated racist in nature. There's no question about it. Toys with black Negro figures in demeaning, jovial roles, either dancing for money or doing other demeaning acts. This dancing black gentleman was made by Lehman, another Jewish company in Germany, in 1907. The condition is quite remarkable and has the advantage of having its original illustrated box, which automatically nearly doubles the value of a fine toy. When you wind up the clockwork motor, the black gentleman does a little dance, or as the Americans used to say, a jig. He is called, and it's on the box and printed on the toy, an Alabama Coon Jigger. It's just a very, very attractive toy, in perfect condition, and one of my personal favorites. Everywhere I have opened a gallery, I am asked, why don't you open a museum? Me opening a museum, I think, is a responsibility which I would consider at some point. But to have everything on my shoulders, the responsibility of running a museum, is probably just too much for me at my stage in life. Maybe when I retire, and at present I have still too much energy to expand and too much to discover about these old toy manufacturers. Because the wonderful thing about this business is that even after nearly 40 years, I'm still learning. This boat was made during the American-Spanish War of the late 1880s, based on the battle cruiser Columbia. This boat was obviously made as a toy to attract children. Had to have exaggerated features like the oversized triple funnels, the guns that again on the sides completely out of proportion with the rest of the boat, based on something original that children can relate to, but interpreted in a very toy-esque way. Israeli customers have started buying from the gallery here in a way that I did not expect at all. When I opened this little gallery here on Olozorov Street in Tel Aviv, I opened it with an idea that this is more of an office with a lovely display where I could buy and sell internationally via the internet, via special by appointment only visitors. But I have been very pleasantly surprised that over the last few months that there are a body of collectors in Israel whom I didn't know existed. Nearly every day someone comes in here and either buys or wants to do an exchange or sell, but people that are so keen to glean information, knowledge. This toy is what I would class as unique. It is the only surviving example of its type. The history behind this is worthy of a novel. This toy was made at the beginning of 1937 by a Jewish-owned company in Brandenburg called Orobor. The three partners, all Jewish, were served 4 weeks' notice to give up their factory, all the tooling, machines, and everything in return for visas to leave Nazi Germany. For 4 or 5 years beforehand, the company made a high-wing, triple-engined monoplane like this, but in basic primary colors: red, green, yellow, and blue. But as an act of sheer and unadulterated defiance, the owners changed the litho-printed process during the last 2-3 weeks of the company's life under their stewardship to create a version of the identical plane, but with the Magen David on the wings, on top and underneath. This was their unique and only way of saying, well, there you have it. You know, we will overcome eventually. We don't know how, we don't know when. This is the only known example. And there's something that is akin to poetic justice here, that a toy made during the most repressive period in Jewish history has not only survived, but now takes pride of place in a toy gallery in the Jewish homeland. I have old toys in my blood. It's almost like it's part of my DNA. And I will probably not ever stop collecting toys. The day I die will be the day I stop buying toys.